Okay, beautiful. I think we are good to go here on live stream. Beautiful. Well, it's so great to see all of you here today. Thanks for joining us. And we had a lot of RSVPs. I think people really, the topic spoke to people. So go ahead and put in the chat if you came here today because you are really excited about the concept of there being a way to reach your ideal people, organic lead generation that does not rely on ads, social media, or tech. Let me get a yes or a one or a yes, an amen in the chat. Yes, lots of excitement coming through the chat here. Yeah, and that's really yeah, big exclamation points. Yes, amen. Yes, I love it. Holy Grail. Oh my gosh, everyone's so excited. So I'm excited to say that this is something that I have been hold on one second. Tech things going on. Okay. This is something that has been my wheelhouse for over 2 decades now. And I have found ways to use my background as an award-winning publicist, a small business owner, an entrepreneur, now moving into the online business coaching and consulting space to just kind of merge everything that I know and use and create a really cool way of doing business in the new paradigm. And I talk a lot about, if you're in my community, you've heard me talk about this new paradigm of business. It is happening. And it's truly a way where it's a much more connected, collaborative way with community and conversation of doing business. And people are really resonating with this. I think a lot of people out here are, they're tired of being advertised to and sold to. And we're all looking to get back to those real, aligned, genuine, authentic connections and conversations. So if you're here because you like that as well, go ahead and let's get another amen, another thumbs up in the chat. And yeah, if that resonates with you and is the way you like to do business, then you are absolutely in the right place. Okay, so yeah, I love it. We got party hats going. Yes. So we're going to jump into the topic for today, which is all around the organic lead generation. Now, and you'll see some of this coming up in the slides, but I'm just going to preface this that there's really only 3 ways that you're going to get in front of new people. And that is through advertising, right? Facebook ads, paid advertising. Then there's referral or maybe kind of network marketing, referral marketing. That's the second way. And then the third way is organic traffic, organic lead generation. So that is really my expertise and where I focus. And I'm really all about having a connected boutique business where I really get to work one-on-one and in a nice, deep way with my clients. So I find that a lot of the women coming into our community are they're actually really liking this business model that I've created. And, it isn't necessarily that I need 200 people, that are in my program, but it's the right 20. It's the ones that are really going all in and they are willing to invest in themselves. They're ready to go to the next level. And they see that the path that I can take them on is the way to get there. So, a lot of you have expertise of 2, 3, some women I've been talking to, even 4 decades. And you're getting stuck in kind of the old paradigm of can you believe we already have an old paradigm of online business? That's how long online business has been around now. And there's a lot of new ways and things that are emerging that it's kind of blowing people's minds because, it takes a little while for things to catch up. So a lot of what's being taught out there is really just what worked 10 years ago. And it's not what's working now necessarily. So I always like to have my finger on the pulse of what is working to have a successful business, to help my clients have success in their businesses. So we're going to dig in today to some of my signature content, which is the secrets to organic lead generation. So some of it, if you've been in my community, you may have seen or heard it before. I invite you to come today with fresh eyes. And every time I present my content, it's presented a little differently because I might tell you a different angle or a different story. So just be really open today to kind of keeping that state of childlike awe and not thinking we already have all the answers, and just knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel if you are knocking your head against the wall with some of these old paradigm methods, which pretty much are dealing with lots of tech, complicated funnels, building your business backwards, right? Like starting with group courses and programs before you've even mastered having your six-figure signature offer. I'm really here to take a stand for women as we head into International Women's Day here, in being compensated for their gifts and it not having to be complicated and difficult and expensive. So that's my stand, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm going to get us into screen share here in just 1 second while I get my screen organized, and we're going to hop in to today's goodness. Okay. And here it comes. So I do these live masterclasses. It's part of an ongoing series. They're a little different each time. Sometimes I use slides, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just see who shows up and we go in a whole different direction. But I just felt like I haven't done this in a while, like the actual presentation. So I want to do it live because a lot of new transmissions and information has been coming through me. So it's going to be presented probably in a slightly different way if you've ever seen any of this signature content before. So here we go into screen share. Okay, so you are in the right place if you are here for organic lead generation strategies that don't require or rely on tech, ads, or social media. And a lot of you gave a big amen for that concept. I know that my ideal client that I work with, those are the biggest complaints I hear, right? I need to reach more people, but I don't want to have complicated tech. I don't love tech. I don't love being on social media, and I don't have the budget to pay for ads. Well, today is a lucky day because you are in the right spot. Some of you are aware of my story, so I'm not going to spend too much time on some of these background pieces, but just to know that I started my career in the PR industry working on one of the most famous independent films that to this date is still one of the most profitable indie films ever made, The Blair Witch Project. And it was really through the power of their positioning, their PR strategy, which got them to the level of becoming a worldwide phenomenon. So just to know that's, the spirit of my career started in this place of being able to be part of things that become part of the zeitgeist, right? Like part of global phenomena. And you're here because you're a woman in business. You're looking to make a bigger impact in the world and for the people you're here meant to serve. You are really interested in being sought after, to get paid to speak, to be on stages, to be featured in the media, to get your message or movement out there in a bigger way. And you're really excited about the fact that there's organic methods to do this that are going to get you connected with that authentic community, right? Create that authentic connection, and of course, build currency in your business. And I talk a lot, some of you we've met before, you've heard me talk about visibility with a purpose. And so for that, you really want to start with a sustainable business model and that irresistible signature offer. I highly promote a six-figure signature offer, your one big thing that you're going to focus on that's going to get you to your money goal faster. And so you're going to focus on the business model, right? The irresistible offer. And then the second part, if you just sort of break everything down that I do into a very simple two-step formula, is that you're going to have the visibility and the PR plan for organic aligned strategy that makes you discoverable, right? People can actually find you, and beyond your inner circle, beyond your current network, right? The people who are looking for you can actually find you, because if they don't know you exist, it's pretty hard to hire you. Stick around to the end as well. I do have a give at the end of today's class, so I'm going to share that with you when we get to the end. And, in terms of, my expertise as being an award-winning publicist, a lot of people don't really understand what PR publicity is. And it truly is about how you want to be seen in the world, how you're received and perceived by the public at large, right? Anyone out there that is being exposed to you. And it's really about getting that awareness and attention, right? That you wouldn't normally get if you didn't have the good PR or publicity. So this is, one of the biggest secrets to organic lead generation. And why is it so powerful? Well, because it's other people saying you're great. I was on, just to give a personal example, I was on David Meltzer's office hours last year. He's a top 100 business coach. And when he introduced me and was talking about me, he said, today we've got one of the best PR people in the world here. And guess what? I use that quotation now in my marketing and my own PR. And some of you, we met that way because you landed on a page where I had that quote and it said who I am and what I'm doing. And it had that stamp of credibility on it to give that instant legitimacy and credibility. So another example of powerful PR is when you look at someone like Richard Branson, who has always understood the power of public relations. And you can see throughout his whole career how he used it and how it has elevated him to be one of the most known and iconic names associated with an iconic brand in the world. When you think of Richard Branson, you think of Virgin and vice versa. Starting from the days of his being a student launching a magazine all the way into space travel. And, this PR is not just for people like Richard Branson. It's for everybody. It's for business owners. It's for my clients. I've worked with unknown underdogs to top celebrities. I work with a lot of consultants and coaches and experts and creatives and spiritual practitioners. So anyone who's trying to get out there, Rebecca's an example where she went through the journey and went from local to global. She had a local audience in one market. And by the end of working together, she had a global online presence and had 10x plus at this point her income. And she learned how to get herself on TV shows, TV news, to get interviewed in the media. She launched her own show. She ended up being approached by a media company to be a paid podcast host. So right there alone, that was like an extra $4K a month for 4 hours of her time a month, just for doing an hour show a week. And she was able to land her first traditional book publishing deal. We can all get self-published, but how many of us have been traditionally published by a publishing house, right? So the cachet with that also, as she built her own credibility, she was able to land a traditional book publishing deal. So who here is resonating with her story? Do any of you here who are here today see yourselves being in the media, having your own show or a podcast, or maybe you already do, maybe you've already done some of this. Could you see yourself getting paid by a media company to host a show, right? Like, maybe getting a traditional book publishing deal. So we do this work for, as I mentioned, just about anyone who has a woman in business, who has her purpose, her passion, her message, her movement, her services that she's putting out into the world. I have done product PR too. We do more with service-based professionals, but we can also help with products as well. If you don't yet know your visibility archetype, this is something that'll be really great to get you started. You can do this after the class today. It's a very short 5-question quiz, and you can go to shinesuperpower.com. And that is going to tell you if you are a light walker, world changer, transformer, or protector, and what that means in terms of your strengths and your own weaknesses that you want to lean into when it comes to your own visibility journey. We do serve 3 types of clients that are working on their visibility, whether you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced. Really, it's about what is your next win. There's always, especially when it comes to the media, there's always a next win. And let's just get a show of hands here or in the chat. Go ahead. If you feel like you're a beginner at this stuff, put a 1 in the chat. An intermediate, put a 2. And in advanced, put a 3. And let's just kind of see who we have here with us today. Okay, so we have a good mix of 1 and 2s. 1, 3, awesome. Okay. As always, it's always a mix. And again, there's no right or wrong place to be. It's just where you are in the journey and knowing, hey, you're here. So if you're in the number 1 place, you're on your way. You're already on your way. And okay, my big message. So when it comes to organic lead gen, the thing with visibility, which has become such a hot word in the past couple years here, is that so many people think it's all about social media and or Facebook ads. And I'm here to say that the PR pie is much bigger than that. And, if PR confuses you when I talk about PR publicity, just think visibility, right? Organic visibility. Social media and Facebook ads are like pieces of the visibility pie. So there are lots of other ways to do this. And once you have a PR plan for, that's customized to you and your journey, we also align that with your visibility strengths. So that's why it's great to know your visibility archetype. So once we know what the path is that's aligned to you, we can take you on that journey and you can get faster, farther, further, quicker, easier. Okay, so what I've identified in over 25 years of doing this work is this is what I see as your business success path and where people are falling off. And, you're going to see the steps here and see where where you are on the staircase. So for business owners, they tend to have their purpose and niche, like that's where you start, right? And then you have to have your marketable offerings, like what are you putting out into the world? And then the next thing that is really required to be a successful business is having that aligned visibility with a custom PR and marketing strategy. And what's happening is everybody wants to get to step 4, which is being seen as that expert with a full slate of clients or gigs. Yet most people are missing number 3. So if you're trying to jump from 2 to 4 without implementing on number 3, it's very likely that you are frustrated and feel like you're knocking your head against the wall. And then if we look to where I actually am taking my clients, it is to level 5, which most people would love to have this, but they're just happy to get to number 4. But not only are my clients getting to number 4, but they're getting to number 5, which is being recognized as a go-to industry leader, right? And making that global impact. So really quickly, I know a lot of you have heard my story, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. But my background is 2 decades in publicity in the entertainment industry. I've worked with all types of people. If it's out there, I've probably PR'd it from corporate clients to leaders in their fields and industry, Grammy winners, Oscar winners. You can see Branson here, an event that we did with him, Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, iconic comedians. You can see there's Saget, Bob Saget, and Dr. Drew Pinsky. Sadly, we lost Bob Saget, but definitely a special guy. And so working, that's also Mama Sarah Obama, Barack Obama's late grandmother. So having had the opportunity, and I'm so glad before some of these incredible people departed that I was able to be exposed to their magic and their genius and work with them and help bring their messages to the world in a bigger way. So I was really behind the scenes for those 2 decades. And it really wasn't until I decided that I needed to take a different step in my career. This is, a handful of photos of me behind the scenes on red carpets, at big events, as the Oscars, like Sundance, on TV, talking about Oscar campaigning with celebrities as Morgan Freeman. I mean, working festivals, like you name it. I did it, but I stayed behind the scenes. And, after 2 decades, it wasn't until really like my grandmother passed, she was like one of my best friends, that I realized like I need to take things in a different direction because I'm serving millionaires and billionaires. And I really want to make my grandmother proud. I want to impact more people in the world and bring my gifts to a wider audience. So it was very heartbreaking when I lost her, and I was pretty devastated for about a year. And I did go on a soul searching trip in Bali. And that's where I had my breakthrough, my aha moment. I was pretty much at an all-time low, feeling, what I was doing with my life and feeling like I don't know what my purpose is. And I feel like there's more and that I'm meant to do more in this lifetime, but I just didn't know what it was. And it was on this journey that I realized I can take this to a bigger audience. I can take what the elite few know, and I can essentially pull back the curtain. Someone called me the Wizard of Oz today. It's like pulling back the curtain and share this with a wider audience. And so I started doing it. I started my online business. I started hosting programs, and I was dabbling in putting myself out there in a bigger way publicly, which again was a stretch for me because I'm an introvert. So I really didn't quite go all in until 2020, where I was terrified when the pandemic hit. My PR business got wiped out, and I had started the online business, but I wasn't all in yet. And that was the time when I said, you know what, it's time to go all in. And 3 of my 4 grandparents enlisted in World War II. And I thought, if they can do that for that global crisis, I think I can do this. So I decided to start hosting events for my community. I wanted to be of service, and I was always good at thriving through uncertainty. And by doing that, things totally shifted in my business, in my life. I was invited to be on the Forbes Business Council when the LA chair saw what I was doing. I wrote an article about this in Forbes, and it really just started to take things to a whole new level. My online business, I launched my first ever high-end program on May 2020, at a time when the world was going into contraction. I opened up into expansion and created a collective and a high vibe vortex, is what I call it, where women were stepping in to work on their heart's passion, because we all realized how short life is. So, that's where I really leaned in to go all in on my purpose. And that's what I'm doing now. That's why we're here today. Trust me, we would not have been here if I had not been through this journey that I went through, because I was happy to stay off camera and behind the scenes. But now here we are. And so today, really talking about these secrets to organic lead generation, I can tell you right now that what's probably missing in your business is a strategic PR plan that really communicates your message and you as the brand, right? And this doesn't require the things we've been talking about. You can dance on TikTok if you want, but you certainly don't have to. You don't need to pay for expensive ads or PR firms or costly online marketing campaigns, and stop that hamster wheel of endless social posting that's like not really resulting in anything anyway. So again, we talked about at the very beginning today, the 3 ways to get in front of new people is organic, affiliate, and paid. So everything I teach is through organic traffic, connection, and leads. I do touch on affiliate. And I advise on paid, but my real specialty is the organic, and then touching into a couple of those other pieces of those other places. I do consult on those as well. So really, this is about doing more with less effort, right? Getting more results, and it being a little easier. So really, the thing to know today is that the press, the media, they are seeking you now. There are tons of places we can get you when it comes to new media, digital media, mainstream media, right? There's a lot of strategies and ways you can go that really will catapult you into the stratosphere. And it really helps you with, the growth of your authority, your audience, that awareness about you. Sometimes we call this free publicity, right? It takes your time and effort, but once you do it, it becomes a bit addictive and fun. and getting you outside of your current network, becoming that go-to expert. And not only do people discover and find you, but they come pre-sold. So here are just some examples of some of the places our clients have appeared, whether it's magazines, newspapers, TV, there's radio, there's blogs, there's podcasts. There's so many ways to go with this that really can take things to the next level. And Leslie is another story I like to share because she had her TEDx talk and she really wanted to leverage that. And so she embarked on a campaign to put herself out there in a bigger way in the world. And through the work we did, she got picked up her story in Entrepreneur magazine. She was also, unbeknownst to her, voted a top 15 coach in her city. It was like one of those things when it hits your inbox and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even try to make that happen. And look what just happened. So those are the unexpected surprises that happen when you focus on this type of work. So the first thing we really need you to do today is to claim your visibility vision. Think about what your dream win would be when it comes to your visibility. Maybe it's being on a stage, in a certain media outlet, and think about what that buzz is about you. And this is where we really have to start. And then the next piece is really feeling into that vision and knowing, I work with my clients with the quantum field. So we are constantly working to keep them in alignment with their visions, holding that energy, frequency, vibration so that it can land, right? And so this is when you feel in your bones that it's possible, that it's happening, that what it's like, that's where you call it in. So this is a huge piece of it, is really staying in alignment, identifying the vision and keeping aligned with it. And it's not always, it's not like we can always hold it all the time, but we have to get better at practicing coming back to the vision and the feeling. And Teresa is another great example of someone who went from overwhelmed to focused in her business. She said she felt more lit up in her business than she had in a long time. And at the time was on track to reach 2 million people with her channeled angelic messages. So I have to check in with her to see where she is today. But one of my favorite and dear clients that I've gotten to work with along the way. And so the next key I want to share today is that it's possible to start this today, because really the world is needing what you have. And there are people out there that are praying for what you can give them. So we need to know why are you not there yet? Like there's something that's been stopping you. And it's usually one of a couple things that is happening. One is that you're waiting. So my big message is stop waiting. A lot of people think that this is for other people or it's for later, but it's actually the opposite. It's the thing that gets you to the other side of your vision and your goal. So again, if you've done some of this work and you stopped, don't stop, right? This is about the long game. This is about momentum and leveraging your wins. One entire pillar of my 6 pillars to shine online, number 6 is leveraging your wins to go global. Because if you're not leveraging your past wins, that is a huge missed opportunity. And if you're not leveraging each win into the next win, that's another big mistake. So what are the reasons you're holding yourself back? These are all things I've identified after, several years now working with a lot of women business owners online. And these are the things that keep coming up constantly. One is that there's limited thinking or fears that are stopping or blocking you. And or 2 is not knowing the steps. Now, pretty much for everyone, it's not knowing the steps. Or maybe you knew some of the steps and you just don't know what the next steps are. So these are the things that are holding people back. I call these the visibility blind spots, right? These are the big gaps in your visibility. And so sometimes this shows up, especially, I will say for most of my clients, they're high-performing women. Perfectionism is a big one that holds them back. There's analysis paralysis, like too many decisions to make and not making any decisions and just staying paralyzed in the same place. There's imposter syndrome, which, even some of the top people out there talk about, their insecurities. I don't know if anyone else just saw the most recent J-Lo making of documentary that just came out, but I highly recommend it. It's The Greatest Love Story Ever Told, where she talks a lot about her story. There's compare and despair, right? Oh, someone else is doing it better than me. Why would I do it now? They're already doing it. But there is a way you're doing your magic that no one else can do it. So these are the common fears, thoughts, and beliefs that I hear all the time. And these are from people in my community. I cut and pasted these. They actually were real things people typed into the chat. So just take a moment to see, like, what do you resonate with? Is something jumping out at you? Is there something here that you connect with that is like, oh, okay, maybe that is a story I'm telling myself that actually isn't aligned with where I'm at anymore, or I'd like to break through or move past that or shift that. So feel free, go ahead and share in the chat any of these places that you resonate with, that maybe you're feeling stuck with your visibility vision, or, if you're like, just even if it's as simple as, I want to be on the Today Show, but I don't know how to do it. How do I do it? Like, that's where you're going to get stuck. I don't know who to call. I don't know what to say. So it can be very small things that are stopping you, but there's something there that's stopping. And yeah, so I see some of those, no idea how, don't know the steps. Exactly. Like that's normal. Like you guys all have a genius zone that I have no idea how to do your thing. Yeah, no idea what to do. Yeah, exactly. So there's nothing wrong with that. And that's why you're here today, because you want to talk to somebody who knows how to do the things. So someone I really want to share too is sometimes these limiting thoughts and beliefs or fears, they can be very profound and deep, and we might not even know that they're there. And so one of my clients who is just a wonderful woman, when she showed up, she literally broke out in hives when we talked about her getting more visible. Now, this is someone who works on camera, but being visible to the public, in the media, in a bigger way was a bit terrifying to her. So she literally went, we say, from fears to features. Next thing you know, we helped her overcome those fears. We cleared some of those blocks, and she just ran with it and was everywhere. She's been in a ton of, she was just in the latest Guardians of the Galaxy movie. She's been everywhere in the media, right? And she also, as a consultant, she raised her rates. And actually, I think I need to update this with her star meter. She said her star meter on IMDb, for those of you familiar with the creative side of the industry, she said her star meter is at an all-time high from the work that we did. So it's just so powerful what this work can do. Liz is another interesting story, because she came in to work on the nonprofit where she was the executive director. She wanted to raise that profile. She soon realized that by her raising her profile is what was going to raise the profile of the nonprofit. And not only that, did she step in, do a complete shift with how she was showing up in the world, but she also started a whole new revenue stream as a social impact coach. And she applied for a grant. She said she never would have applied for that if she hadn't been doing this work, and she won it. So it's just so powerful. This is really an inside out journey on stepping into who you truly are, your purpose, and all that you're here to do. So again, leveraging your wins is such a key piece of this. And I will say that good PR is the thing that gets you known and puts you in the position to make more money. One of the first things most of my clients do is raise their rates and or create that six-figure signature offering so that they can start having that cash flow they need to grow their business. And I do have my signature system, the 6 pillars to shine online. So I turned it into these 5 P's and the big O, right? So figuring out your path, right? The strategy and the plan, getting your positioning right, your positioning in the marketplace, your core differentiator. That's a gift I have as well, is helping people establish themselves and how they set themselves apart uniquely in the marketplace and with the right message clarity to speak to your right aligned soulmate clients. There's your packaging, right? Needing the right materials, the collateral that you're going to share as you're putting yourself out there in the world in a bigger way, everything from your press kit to your website to your, so whether you have social presence or not, but we want to make sure that's consistent across all platforms. And especially if you're on, if someone can Google you, you have an online presence. Whether you think you have an online presence or not, you do. If someone Googles you and you come up, that's what's showing up as your online presence. Or maybe it's not showing up, and that's an even bigger problem. So one, we want to make sure that you do show up. And two, we want to make sure what shows up reflects who you are and what you're doing in the world. Then there's presenting yourself in the world. So where are you going to be putting yourself out there? Where are people going to be able to find you? And then we really focus on press power, right? The power of the media. And it's through that you get to this omnipresence, and we keep building and growing and leveraging until you get to that point where people are like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing you everywhere, right? And we all know those people that are doing it. They have a good PR plan. That's why you are seeing them everywhere. Kriya is another great example of someone who went through this journey as someone who was already a leading teen addiction prevention specialist in her industry. Only the people in her regional market knew that. But we started helping her get into the media. She was doing writing for her industry trades. She said the biggest thing she loves is now that she loves what she sees when she Googles herself. And I was able to just get together with her a couple months back because she was flown into town to do a paid speaking event. And she's now doing the paid speaking circuit, and she gets paid thousands of dollars and her travel covered to fly into different places and do like an hour workshop. She did one in Vegas for the DEA for like 1,000 high school students. So this is the result of doing the work. And she told me, it was so funny when I saw her, she said, I did what you told me, Heather. I put a 0 on the end of my fee. So this is the stuff that can happen when you work with me. Quite powerful stuff. Okay, so the real key is to setting and launching your PR plan to monetize your magic, right? So that's really key here, is having the PR plan. And I want you to know for today that the third key to all of this is that there's money in your message, right? So when you put what you do in the world, the way only you can do it, when you put it out there in the right time, at the right way, in the right way, in front of the right people, at the right time, right? That's when you get to monetize your gifts. And it truly becomes magical where you're monetizing through magnetic marketing, where people are coming to you. One of my clients just shared how she had, I think 120 women show up to an event that she didn't even really promote. And she does work with the quantum field as well. She's a quantum coach. So it's like, this stuff is possible. It really is possible. So through that alignment, right? Again, it always comes back to the inner journey first. Then with the connection and the communication with the right people, that is what's going to take you to that revenue and currency that you're looking for. So I love to do this as a quick exercise just to help everyone realize like how much it's really costing us to not go for what we know we need to go for. So when you think about your current monthly goal, and this can be part of your visibility vision, right? Like, where do you want to be? What's your monthly money goal? That's an easy place to start. And make it something reasonable, like that you would like to be achieving in maybe the next 2 to 3 months, something your system can feel is real and possible, right? I know a lot of people like to say $1 million, but no, like what's real and possible and feels possible to your system. And so now let's just take that money goal and multiply it by 12 months. Right? So say it's 10K a month. All right. That's $120,000. Now, if you're not making that yet, or right now, you can see what it's costing you not to implement this work and to do the work you need to do to get visible to the right people. So now you take that 120 and okay, say you're going to wait 2 years now to start getting going on your visibility and your PR. Okay, now that's $240,000 you're costing yourself. Right? So just a way to look at this and like actually put a monetary realization on it that this is costing you not to do this. Okay, so creating your plan, So as I keep saying, this is the key. A goal without a plan is just a wish, right? I love this quote because it's so true. And two types of campaigns that we want you to be doing are evergreen and project focused, right? So evergreen means you are year round putting yourself out there as this expert, right? You're able to tie yourself into holidays, monthly news, trends, events, things that are happening in the world. And then the project base is when you have something to announce or something to share, like I'm going to speak on this stage, or I have a new book, or I'm launching a new program, or I'm launching my new business. Like you have to be telling the world when you're doing these things. And why now? Great question. This is the thing, as we mentioned, that'll get you to that other side of your visions, goals, and dreams. So if you don't start now, where are you going to be in another 6 months? You heard a little bit about my grandparents. My maternal grandfather was a B-17 pilot. If any of you are watching Masters of the Air right now, like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe it's the latest World War II series from Spielberg and Hanks. You know, they did Band of Brothers in the Pacific. So Masters of the Air on Apple TV is like, I'm getting a front row seat to see what my grandfather lived through as a pilot. And there was less than a 50% chance that they might come back from those missions. He was successfully, I wouldn't be here if he hadn't successfully flown 28 missions. And this was his passion and his purpose. He enlisted after Pearl Harbor. He wanted to help eradicate evil dictators from the planet, you know, people like Hitler, right? So he believed in his passion and purpose enough to get on a plane 28 times, knowing he might not come back, right? And that is what it takes. This is the entrepreneurial journey, is we have to lean in and feel that purpose and passion. And I have to say that I drew on his strength and courage at the beginning of the pandemic. And that's the only reason I'm here today talking to you, is because I overcame my fears and all my limitations and limiting thoughts and beliefs around getting visible and putting myself out there, and said, it's more important what I can give to people than these fears I'm having. That's the important piece here, is how I can help people. And I know I can help people, so I got to get over myself. So that was my journey. So when, you know, people work with me, I say, you know, you get to be part of my crew. This is my Papa's crew. You get to be part of my crew, and draw on that legacy of courage. So if you're an established woman in business, you are the perfect fit, because that's who I help, right? Take things to the next level. And if you feel like you're spending a lot of time on non-income generating activities, then we definitely need to get you going on the right track. So the give that I'm offering today, for those of you that are here, and this is really meant for people who haven't had one yet, I have literally like a handful of spots each week that I save for visibility audits. So if you feel like you want to get my eyes on your business and connect, go ahead and type ready in the chat. If you're someone that I've met with that maybe didn't go to a second call, or you're like, I want to meet with you again, and now, you know, I'm feeling extra inspired today after hearing all of this, go ahead, write ready in the chat. And so we will reach out to you. And we usually do that through the Facebook DMs. So I would say, go ahead, if you're not friends with me on Facebook, then DM me on Messenger. So that's probably the easiest way. If you're here, we also have your email address too, I think, because you signed up to be here. So again, go ahead, type ready in the chat if you want to connect, if you feel like you're ready to take your visibility journey and level, or your visibility journey to the next level. And something else, I don't usually offer things on these events, but I realized I have this, you know, basically treasure box sitting there that I'm not selling or telling anybody about. So I'm going to go ahead and just let you guys know that I have my Shine and Thrive workshop. It's a great entry point to get to know me and what I teach. If you're not making the money you want to make, I teach you how to build your 6-figure offer and how to start filling it organically. So you can go to our website at prstars.net/products, and you can find the Shine and Thrive workshop there. It's $97. I say it's a 10K value because I'm teaching you how to have 10K months. And it was something I did for my clients. And then we realized, you know what, the whole community needs this. So we opened it to the public. So this was just a couple months back, and now it's available for you on replay. So it's a 3-hour workshop. It comes with all the supporting materials, templates, all that you need to get going on that 6-figure signature offer. Okay. And then one other thing I'd like to let people know about is, because of course, yes, I have my online programs as a coach and consultant, but I also still have some media services that are done for you. And those are my media amplifier services. So if you're like, wait, I just want you to do some of this for me, go ahead, write amplify in the chat, and we can talk more about that. So again, that's done for you services where we do it for you, and just go ahead and write amplify in the chat. So also anyone on replay, wherever you're watching this, we are live streaming into multiple platforms right now. Feel free, #replay. Feel free to engage in the comments. We always come back and look, and we'll look for you as well if you put in ready or amplify today into the chat. All right. So with all of that being said, we kind of zipped right through. I like to do these power hours where we just give you the download and the transmission, and then we go from there. So it is your time to shine. That's my big message to you all today. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the share here. And we have a couple minutes. So if anyone has a question regarding maybe their own personal journey or visibility or PR, or where you're maybe feeling you're stuck, or just anything pertaining to today's content, I'm happy to take a couple minutes and chat. So you can feel free to put the questions in the chat or raise your hand if you want to come on camera and we can spotlight you and have a little chat. So let's see. Any questions? No questions?
I have one, Heather. It's Jillian here.
Oh, Jillian. Okay, great. Hi.
Hi.
I'm going to spotlight.
Hi. Thank you for that presentation. I just checked on the website, and it looks like I have to pay some money for the program. Do I need a code or something?
The give today is the free audit if you want that.
So, I've got the audit.
Okay, great.
With you.
And then I was also just letting everyone know about the Shine and Thrive workshop, because I say, like, a lot of the community and women I've been talking to don't even have their 6-figure signature offer yet. So I was like, remiss for me not to let them know this workshop exists. So yes, if you're interested in getting that information, it's on the website, and that's only $97. So
great.
We are selling it. Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes, Thanks. Of course. Do you have any questions about your specific scenario or anything pertaining to today's content?
Well, so all of it, and nothing in specific. I definitely really resonate with what you're saying about I'm dealing with social media, and it's like I would rather be kissing frogs. It's just miserable. It's just not where my heart is. So I'm excited about being able to be freer and really focus on the things that just come organically from me. So
I love that. And yeah, you're not alone with that. I mean, I even resisted a lot. And honestly, my social media is probably kind of on life support at the moment, but it's like, as long as you have a good online presence. So we do want to make sure you're at least using those free platforms to have the presence to be discoverable. But it doesn't mean you have to be a content creator and an influencer and posting 5 times a day.
Thank you.
So yeah, I know there's a lot of people out there, giving that kind of advice. And I'm like here to say that, don't worry about it. There are other ways. Just, not to take away from, I think, the power of social media too, because it is at our fingertips. It's free. Podcasts you can have a free show on, YouTube.
Right.
Anchor for podcasts. Like there's so many ways to put yourselves out there, but then it's also, okay, now I have the thing. Am I promoting it? Am I publicizing it? Am I driving the traffic through organic lead
That's the piece right there. And then it's the follow-up afterwards. So it's having the whole thing. And that I find, it's once it's in place, great. But putting it in place, it's just there's a lot of work, front end and back end, and then ongoing.
Yeah, and I know you've gotten a lot of content today, and I do tend to just give a lot because one of my clients, Liz, who I showed you earlier, she said, and she went through the program and she said, it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose at first, but then it really starts to make sense and it becomes easy and fun. And it's like, there's just a lot of internal shifting that happens when you're learning a new way of doing things. So yeah, so just to know that this is totally a normal reaction and the feelings you're having. So just to normalize that for you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And I think we have a call in the book. So I look forward to diving in a little deeper with you. Fantastic. I see a couple questions coming through here. Nancy asks, how would you recommend leveraging a talk you give? Oh my goodness. Well, that's so many things we can do for that. I mean, one thing is putting out an official press announcement, right? You can, that's something we teach people how to do. And I know there are people that say, oh, press releases don't work anymore. I'm like, sorry, yes, they do. They enhance your SEO. They drive traffic. They drive eyeballs. They give you backlinks. So one due diligence thing that we like to always do is put out some sort of an announcement when there's some news. But that's just the baby due diligence tool, the baby step. I would say the bigger step is pitching, basically editorially, to the places where you want to be appearing. So if you have a talk, make it official, make it a real thing, make an announcement, right? And then start publicizing it, right? So that's when you talk about, if we're looking just at, like, say, let's look at new media and mainstream media. So you could start pitching yourself to podcasts, right? And use that as a selling point of like, hey, I'm out there, I'm talking my message. Would you like me to come to your audience and share my message? Like, it's always about what the audience is going to take away, right? So if you're pitching, say, your local hometown media, like the local newspaper or the local TV news, like use your talk as a way to build up some momentum in other areas of promotion. So that's just one idea. Of course, there's so many, right? It's like, I always say, sing it loud and proud from the mountaintops. Of course, you have all those, your owned, we call it your owned media, which we don't really own them, but our platforms like Instagram, right? That we have free accounts on. If they went away tomorrow, that would stink. But in the meantime, now you have an audience there that you're building and growing and can communicate with for free. So those are great avenues, right? But also the number one asset in your business is an email list. So you also want to be nurturing, your own community, right? And how are you connecting? And that, the email list, I think, is a due diligence thing, but also, do you have a community? Do you have an online community? Where are you connecting with your people? So making sure everybody knows, talking about it, promoting it. Those are just a couple of the things that I would recommend. And again, it's the leveraging. When you have a talk, leverage that into the next talk, right? And if you're not getting paid to speak yet, start, using that portfolio to leverage into paid speaking opportunities. Because now that you've had a few, if you're doing them for free right now, I do not advise paying to speak unless it's like a real big win or your key demo and you're going to get a lot out of it, whether it's being able to make an offer or list building. My clients, I do not advise that they pay to play unless it's truly aligned. In this day and age, there is a lot of the media organizations and places are struggling and suffering and dying. So a lot have switched to pay to play models for a lot of these smaller organizations. And media organizations. So sometimes working in a little pay to play, if it's aligned and makes sense for your audience, can be advised. But I'm all about getting my clients the free publicity. I'm like, I want you getting paid to speak. I don't want you paying to speak. Right. So just a little on that. Hopefully that helps, Nancy. I hope is she still here? Not sure if she's still here. I see Janice also is asking. She says, "Thank you, Heather. This is always brilliant. You are very welcome, and thank you. How would you give further legs to a recent magazine feature and award? Would you suggest doing a PR release around the award for more exposure and in outreaching with it to other media opportunities?" Yes, absolutely. Again, the leveraging is the key. So it's always thinking about how can I take this win into the next win? So, if nobody knows that you got the award, right, you're not leveraging it. So yeah, a press release, that's a great tool, putting it over a wire service. Then really, again, though, that is just kind of like a PR tool that's good for SEO. But the real meat of it comes into taking that win and leveraging it with the people, potential partners, potential investors, media, whoever it is you've been trying, potential clients, whoever you've been trying to connect with or, win over or influence, right? Like when you have those wins, we always say in PR, strike while the iron's hot, right? Build that momentum and use those wins to keep growing into the next thing. So hopefully that helps a little bit. And yeah, absolutely. Like that's when you have a magazine feature and an award, you're poised to be able to go big on whatever your ask is with, maybe it's a potential partner, a collaborator, an investor, right? It's not always just about with PR. It's not just about the media, it's sponsors. Maybe you're seeking sponsors for something. So it's a great time to make your ask. Let's see. Another question or some comment coming. I have to go, but I'm ready to learn this way of PR. Just launched my online course last week and put out on social media. But being a baby boomer, this online thing is exhausting. Yeah, and so that's what I know. That's a lot of my ideal client is generally in that like a little bit older, maybe 40 to 55, 60 and up demographic. So it's, we didn't grow up, I didn't even have my first cell phone until I was 25 years old. There wasn't even social media. I actually launched America Online as a consumer brand in 1997. So we had Messenger like way back then, but that was the dawn of the consumer use of the internet. But, that was probably around age, I don't know, 24, 25 as well. So a lot of us did not grow up with this stuff. And, it is a learning curve and it is an adjustment. So, all right. Well, it looks like I don't see any other questions coming through. Last call if anyone has anything. All right. I think we are good to go. Well, thank you all for being here today. And I look forward to seeing you in our community and just know it is your time to shine and keep coming back for more of this information and these transmissions because they're going to help you get to that next chapter and elevate you to that next step in your own visibility journey. And these are the secrets to organic lead generation. There is no other way. When it comes to organic lead generation, this is what they're talking about, exactly what we talked about here today. So, all right, everyone, I see some thank you coming through. Mwah. Big thank you to you all. All right. Love you, ladies. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.